wena sithola ama-drugs ebhekini yakho unothi ebhekini yakho kule khule ikhula box yase-Brazil different angithi so bekuyincane sithola ama-drugs and lama-drugs it's 100% cocaine uyabona mabakhuluma cocaine so we are going to prison nalapha ngibelieve sengisesemaselini ukuthi phelile igame phelile into kamalume phelile ukudlala manje ngiye prison ngi1 ngaboshwa kanjalo.
Wow.
Nkululeko on Cultr.
Hello and welcome to Nkululeko on Cultr. My name is Nkululeko. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for subscribing, liking, and commenting on our content. Thank you to Khaukelo Sebata as our videographer on every episode. She and I are a team, a dream team that has reached 27,000 subscribers. We thank you very much for joining us on this journey. Today's guest is someone whose stories you may have heard in different places. It's about prison, it's about drugs, it's about family. It's a very, very intriguing story that I would like you to listen to, pay attention to, and be empathetic to the story as well. We'll talk for as long as it takes us to talk in a platform where we don't cut, we don't edit. It's her story. Sizakele Maphupha, thank you very much for joining us. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, and you say, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Kwabantu abangamaziyo uSizakele asitshele kancane ukuthi uSizakele wakuphi ubani?
Yebo ninjani viewers unto the nation. Yes, my name is Sizakele Maphupha. Yeah, ngazalelwa eSoweto nengikhulela la eSoweto eGas. Yeah.
Ndiyaboyeka mina abantu baseGauteng.
Oh my God.
Uyichere eSoweto.
Yebo.
Okay. Do you want to tell us in which decade, in the 70s or the 60s?
Oh.
Am I putting you in the spot?
Yes, Punkule.
Okay, let's leave that one out. How was growing up? Ukhule nabani? What was your family situation like?
Hey, Nkululeko, mina ngikhulele family mi ebe very good ne ebe rich ebe nemali. Family enemali ukuthi beyithengisa amalahle. That time umuntu makathengisa amalahle umuntu onemali angithi.
Yeah.
So umamami mama intombazane eyi1 kule family. So umamami make intombazane eyi1 vele angithi bazongithanda vele ngoba yabona uyazi ama-cherry mos yabo. So what happened mina ngikhule ngi-spoil breath but Nkululeko. Hey ngu-cheese girl yabona. So ngikhule ngidli cheese that time. Kwenzakalani bengithi mangifuna into bengithola same time. I used to tell Mom, I want this thing, and angipe immediately. Beka ngibuza ukuthi why sizufuna leyo nto leyo. So ngikhule nginjalo.
Umamako bekano babako, what kind of family structure was it? So you are the only child on your mother's side. Did you have a relationship with your father?
No. Umamami begu mama single parent that time. Yeah, so being nkuliswa uye kabo mamami. So what happened, it's like this. Angithi ugogo uye beka right. So umama beka right bengathi umama aphinda wo baba because of what they were doing. They were selling coal and money was coming each and every time. Yeah.
Yeah, when you talk about money, what do you mean? Did it look to you that they were millionaires from that business, or they were making hundreds of thousands? I connection yabo namalahle bewayithola kuphi?
Bekunama trucks amakhulu kabi. They had 4 trucks that time. Imagine, long time ago. So in the location where I was staying, bekuyibo kakhulu abathengisa amalahle. So the business was very good. Yabo. So they were making money, yes. And who was getting that money? It was my mother kakhulu. Ayenzani achekisa mina. Khona lento biza ukuthi uyacheck amakubuya amalahle abukuyothengisa ngaphandle kuyachekwa imali banjwa yimi that time. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking then, do you have any awareness ukuthi le business enterprise, is it a multi-million business? Noma bekuma 100,000, do you know?
Yes, it was like that time because imali kudala it was having good value angithi. So it was going there to thousands, yes, because bebakwazi ukuthi bancede abanye abantu bakwabanye amakhaya. sikhule kuleyo family ukuthi omunye umuntu mageza awumhleki uyamnceda uyabona. So they were even feeding people from outside. So bekukanjalo.
Okay. You were a spoiled brat in your own words. Describe to us how. Were you the kind of girl that went to public high schools? Uhambe kanjani esikolweni? And which kind of schools did you go to?
That time I used to go to private schools, but in Ngale, yabo elokishini. And then lately, mangia high school, I went to private schools. Ikolabo Spectrum, abanye abantu mhlambe bayasazi before, yabo. So besithi maslapha bus stop, sibona abantwana base Adlon Boys, you understand me? So I used to go to private schools, you know, that time. So I was a cheese girl because hey, ucash bekuyinto yami. So I used to have money ngize ngikherise nabanye abantu abangibukele namhlanje bayazi bazokhomenta. I used to give them money that time. Yeah.
And what kind of high school child were you then? Just take us through that journey. You growing up with a mother who was spoiling you. Was she involved kwindaba yakho nesikole? Was she going to meetings? And now bowingana njani as you were exposed to money? I don't think that that's probably a good idea for a child to be exposed to too much money. So
Yes.
what kind of child were you?
Oh my God. You know, I was very humble, but bengisikele. Yes, abantu abangakhulumi basakhula yabo outspoken people ikelem laba bengibhekisa ikhanda phansi, but inside I was somehow. And bengumntwana onjani othulile ne umama mhlambe bekabona lokho, but beyangazi ukuthi kwenzakalani because bengasumzali okuthaalele ukuthi aye into meetings and check neincwadi zami that time. So bokumzali ocabanga ukuthi uzokhipha nje kuphela but angabheki incwadi and session, like for an example nomntana ukuthi how was school ngifunde inamhlanje, may I look at the dates yabona zeincwadi zakho. So beku mama ocabanga ukuthi money will take me somewhere. Uyayibona into enjalo. So mina bengumntwana ostowed but othulile obhanki isikolo. Yabo bengithanda ukubhanki isikolo sikhathi bekune kind center, we used to go and watch movies there. So I had this thing ukuthi hey, let me bank schools, and because I'm living good.
Yeah.
Benganalento ukuthi ngizokhula ngibe umama kusasa. So it's how I was living.
Yeah. So you drop out at some point esikolweni. What was the journey then at school? Because I mean, like I was saying, it's not a good idea to have a young kid with money because you don't give them a motivation. You go to school. So how far did you go to school?
You know, yabo, everybody's watching and I'm speaking the truth, ne? Yas bengenzani, ne? I finished school at grade 11, but azange ngicede nakhona. Besithi masamba nabantwana abanye sikhohlisana, and we used to tell like, oh, but amansiza yazi khona umuntu owenza ama report somewhere uzokwenzela ama report. So ngicedelele kahle kahle ku grade 10, but kwenzakalani ngayenze report ngathi kumama ngu grade 11 and I'm going to grade 12. So she believed, but without seeing my work, how I was working hard or what I was doing that time. So what believer ngokubona kodwa azange abheke my books and just say that let me check the books of my daughter and see how Sizakele is doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you legitimately passed to grade 10, ukuthi ungene grade 11, but nothing, you never achieved anything else beyond that. That was the last thing you legitimately passed besides fake reports was grade 10.
Yes, yes.
And what kind of student were you? Like, did you care for the books? Like, some of us like English. I liked English, accounting, economics. Some people would love history. When did you care? Did you even go through a high school normally, being exposed to so much money and going to high school, or did you find it as a waste of time?
That time I found it as a waste of time. You know why? Because I never had yazi abanye abantu abasebenzayo uzokutshela umuntu ukuthi, you know, I've got dreams ne ngine motive ukuthi ngiyenze lento because ngiyayithanda, uyabona. I was going to school just normal. Bengayithathele ekhanda lento ukuthi tomorrow I want to be a doctor, you know. Bengisho emlomeni, but my heart was not sure of what I'm saying because yabo bekufanele ngiyesikolweni because benginempilo and ngine future enginayo ahead yabo. So but bengiya nje esikolweni ngoba wonke umuntu uyaya and bengazi ukuthi ngizokheriswa imali eningi yabo. So bekuyilento le ukuthi hayi and mangikherile ngikherisa abanye. I was so stupid that time. Yes.
Do you remember what is the most amount of money you've ever had as a 16-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl uyibambe ngesandla? Like, I think in my personal experience, I don't think I've ever, as a teenager, held more than even 1,000. Ngaphandle kokuthi uthunyiwe umzali go and deposit something. But to hold 5,000 uyibambe ngesandla, like, what was the most amount of money that you were exposed to at the time?
As I said, ukuthi yimbank check.
Yes.
Enye imali bengiyitshontsha. I will say the truth. Enye bebangipha. So 1,000 rand bengibamba. Because if 500 bebangathi bamba and then a carry bese ngiyazi ukuthi ngishaye enye 500 rand. So 1,000 rand bengibamba. But kakhulu le 5 bengitshontsha i5 ebengithole bazalini bami. So 1,000 rand I was holding it on my hand. Yes.
All right, let's take us through then as a young woman. So at some point you drop out from high school, right? As a young woman, what did you do in your life at that point? Did you lose your way at some point? Uphumile esikoleni manje, you don't have a set routine. Yokuthi ngiyavuka ngo-8 and I'm going somewhere. So how were you living then as an 18-year-old girl, 19-year-old girl?
Ukhumbula ukuthi angithi bekunama trucks ne kuthengiswa, and then what happened, my grandmother passed away angithi, and my mother passed away ne, and then umalume was the one who's taking control of everything that time. So kwenzakalani shuthi kithi there was a genuine business and enye bengasi genuine business. My uncle used to sell drugs yabo but angahlali nathi. But I knew ukuthi he was doing that time. So what happened? So umalumam makshona wonke umuntu, I had this thing ukuthi money continues, life continues. Ngoba nginomalume wenza into enje, I'm still gonna have things yabona in order.
Yeah, describe to us what was it doing? What did you find that he was doing ultimately? Ngaphandle kokuthengisa ama drugs or even ukuthengisa ama drugs bekenzani? How big was what he was doing?
Umalumami used to steal ama trucks ne before asewulwetsi, and then babamba abantu angithi mabeza nabantu babavalela niyabona ngabantwana. So they used to do those kind of job ukuthi batshontshe bayo hijack ama trucks imoto, so abuye nemali. That time it was giving them money, you know. So and bekumuntu onjani ongekho stingy, mabashayile iduna, they used to call it iduna, he used to give it to me. Yabokuthi siza ngishaya iscore bamba, and then sometimes izinto ama truck makwase ulwets uza nezinto sidla zona lezi zinto ezitshontshiwe uyabo makeze nazo. So I was like yeah, everything is fine man, ngathi ku West manje hayileyana ihambile ivenue yamalahle kuza le right manje. So empilweni yami benginaye engqondweni yami benginento ukuthi imali benginganayo ukuthi into ukuthi in future I will become something else. Ngizoya somewhere, I want to achieve some things, you know. Ngizokhula phela ngimangala ukuthi faneke ngikhule ngibe nama business am. Yeah. And I think Nkululeko enye into, I was business minded, uyabona. Bengaboni ukuthi I was business minded. Angithi khona business school. Umama that time she should have seen ukuthi Sizakele awuphwanga encwadini ngoba beka checka incwadi ukuthi but business wise lo mntwana ugifted uyabona. Yes.
And let's delve more into your uncle then. What did you uncover besides amatraki? So did you move into his house?
Yes.
Just tell us the story of your uncle and your journey with your uncle.
Yes, ngiyamuva in naye. Yazi bekunjani mangihlala nomama mami bengimuva ngihambe ngiyohlala nomalumamu. I ukuthi it was the first time going there. I usually go there. Bengibona ama movie mawadlala. Mangithi ama movie, I'm saying izinto mazenzakala makuthengiswa bengibona, abantu mabeza bazothenga bengibona, ama drugs mawafika bengibona, yabo. So ukuyohlala naye, it was not a new thing ukuthi uSizakele ubona into entsha manje. I had this thing ukuthi hayi man, hayi ngiyaphambili manje, yabo. So kwenzakalani ukhumbula ukuthi njoba bengishilo ngina 18 19 bengishintshe igear. I was this kind of person manje bese ngihamba ama clubs And at the age of 19, imagine, sengihamba ama-clubs athi yasizakele lapho hamba khona ama-clubs abekho abantu so bengulo muntu othanda ukusocialize vele uyabona ukuthi mangibona abantu ngiyabaxoxisa and we speak, we change ukuthi wenzani wena so bengihlangana nabantu abathengisa imizimba that time emaklabini so mangihlangana nabantu abathengisa imizimba I was approaching them ukuthi you know what how do you do things here? They said we are stripping but masistripha kanje or sikhosha sifuna ukuthi sithathe something which is drugs esizithathayo so they were like giving me a business to you know ukuthi nami ngene yabo so mangibuyela bengathi malume yasilaphe ngithanda ukuhamba khona eklapini and then kunalabantwana abastriphayo abadayisa umzimba wathi yo ibusiness lelo wabe sekanginikeza ama drugs ngacala ukuthengisa ama drugs in clubs and in brothels.
Yeah. Is it staying with someone at this point? Unomuntu osimama ahlala naye yena malume to let him know ukuthi look you are doing this illegal business but do it with other people not your own blood.
Yes. Bekanaye ulona umama ahlala naye that time.
And did he have kids as well?
Yes, they have.
And they were not participating in this life?
No, it was only me.
Ish. Akuthengisa uncle. Akuthengisa malume. You talk to him about the possibility of selling drugs to prostitutes.
Yes.
And you do that.
Yes.
So your involvement then is only to sell to those prostitutes at the beginning.
Yes.
Yes. And what else happened then from that?
Ukhumbulo ukuthi abantu mabayenza into umuntu nokuthi makaphuzile athi wena ngizokuphuzela wena uyangibona mina hey wena ungazi kahle mina ngizokuphuzela and then lo muntu makasho kanjalo it's where he gets or she gets words maseka thathe ilikwa.
Yes.
So kwenzakalani labantu mabasemaklapini bayenzani for the people to approach them and sleep with them they cannot go just ordinary like that. They want something to take so that they can be we call it paranoid. Oguti, they will do it, but the drugs will be leading them. So, mina njengoba bengishilo ukuthi umalume introduce drugs to me, and then ngazithatha bese ngizithengisela labantwana ukuthi bawathathe and then mina ngithola imali. It's like it was like a business manje.
Yeah.
Oguti, I'm supplying as a mule, they call it a mule, and then that time my uncle was a boss. Uyabona ukuthi yena uyanginikeza wenzani anginandaba ukuthi uzithathaphi. What was the main issue ukuthi for me to sell and get my own benefit just like that.
Yeah. And did you at this point are you as a young adult woman you approaching 2021 are you dating people? Do you have a normal life or you are constantly in clubs nje ngaso sonke isikhathi? Did you have a normal dating as a young kid? I mean, ukuqala ukujola siyaqala ngoba 19, 17, we get used to cheating and lying to each other, blah, 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 blah. In that age, we learn to live with other people as well. What kind of relationships were you striking, being exposed to that world in such a young age?
Yes. While I grown up, yes, I had some relationship. But bengadweli unto yabona ukuthi ngizwa yazi the way bengakhona hey bengithanda imali my god yo umuntu makajola nami bekafuna imali bekazi ukuthi mangijola noSizakele
there's a benefit to dating you.
Yes, I will achieve something yabona.
Yeah.
And abafana ke mabazona nami umuntu ubone sengathi uyakuncabuza lele umuntu ufaka isandla epokotini lakho awumuzwa because that time ucabanga ukuthi angithi ukuleyo move le kanti umuntu uthatha imali so ngathi hayi mina yayi ngathi ukujola lokho ithi ngiyekele ngibheke ibusiness le.
Yeah, because you were exposed to money at such a young age. It's a shame, really. So your uncle is he owning clubs or anything? If you're saying he's a boss in this world, is he an owner of clubs? Who is he connected to? Is he a respected person in the drug underworld? Like bayamhlonipha bayamazi ukuthi ubani?
Hey, ukhumbula ukuthi ucala emotweni ngithi nasema tracking.
Yes.
So makacale lapho vele people they used to respect him yabo in the world and say that yabona hey umntana umtshana niyazi ukuthi umtshana kabani basho igama lakhe that time namazi lo ukuthi umtshana kabani. Yes, he was well known and connected with people. I call them pimp ne who were selling drugs that time, yabo. So he was well known.
Yeah. You infiltrate the world of AMA clubs and supplying drugs. What else were you doing then? Did you become a prostitute now? Just take us through that point as you're selling drugs and clubs and stuff like that.
No, akhoshe nazange ngikhoshe. Hey, and elokishini bebacabanga ukuthi ngiyahosha the way bengithule ngakhona. Bengibamba ama-bag la amakhulu nekhumbula i-9 West ne la ama-bag amakhulu. Bekhona i-shop lapha bathi kamkhulu eDelvas. So bengimake sure ukuthi ngithenga ama-bag wami khona ukuthi ngiwabambe. Yazi why? Bengihide ama-drugs lapho. So abantu bebafuna ukungibuza ukuthi kahle kahle kula ma-bag kukhonani, but bebangakhoni because bengithulile ngithi and bewungeke ungithinte and ngibuye emalini yabo. So benginjalo ke. What happened, at least sometimes bengithatha ama-meter taxis because money was there yabo, ukuthi ngikwazi ukuthi ngireach where I was going. Kakhulu bengenzani, bengithanda ukubooka ama-hotels uyabona, ukuthi ngizoba kule hotela and then ama-drugs ngizowabeka kule hotela uyabona. Ubani ongathi hayi lo akekho wayabhukha ihotela, ngithi they're working with money. So my life was like that, ukuthi nje money issue. Abantu mangikhuluma ne always but usisi why akhuluma so, why ngikhuluma so, because ulapho umntanakho awazi ukuthi wenzani but uletha imali yabona endlini. So awazi ukuthi leyo mali uyithathaphi, awazi ukuthi leyo mali uza nayo kanjani, awazi ukuthi impahla usigcoka kanjani, but wena unalento ukuthi umntanakho uza nemali uyayibona into ezinjalo. So why ngikhuluma kanje, because omunye umuntu akajontshi but wena usebenza kahle, you are earning very good, but umntanakho makathi ufuna le sneaker se 2.5 uyamnika, umntanakho makathi ufuna le watch uyamnika, umntanakho makathi ufuna ukuyothenga le ncwadi imali engaka, awu inquire lamalanga. There is Google to inquire and say that okay lo muntu uthi but let me Google, okay emsebenzini kune Wi-Fi uyabo, sine access kulamalanga yokuthi emsebenzini kune Wi-Fi eThingberg uyabona into ezinjalo. So why ngikhuluma so, because abantwana bamanje kakhulu abanye, the most abantwana bamanje abasema private school bathatha ama-drugs because bane influence yokuthi lapha bakhona those people who are selling drugs, they staying next to them. Yes.
Yeah. What, did you have a relationship with your cousin, your uncle's children, and were they aware by intanga zakho at the time, and were they aware ukuthi your uncle is putting you through this because he was basically pimping you?
Yes, they knew about it, and bebangibiza ibhoza bathi hayi lo ibhoza lo angeke sifike kulo. Uyazi mawenza lezi zinto lezi uba blind ne, in a way, in such a way mabakubiza ibhoza uyayifeel ukuthi uyibhoza yabo. So they had that thing ukuthi hey usizakele ibhoza, hey angeke simthinte ukwenza ezinye izinto angeke sizenze, and he was so pompous. I was so pompous ukuthi hey yabo.
All right. And then the enterprise turns from local to international.
Yes.
Who introduces that idea? What was the conversation and what happened afterwards?
Remember, I used to go to brothels, ne? Brothels. Abantu bathi, why sisizakele ukuthi brothels? Brothels are hidden places that are in the suburbs where people, they entertain people in different ways. It can be a strip show. It can be different ways. Ne? In brothels, people, they take drugs. Ne? Somebody can introduce you to go to the brothel, and after going there to the brothels, abanye abantu abalali nabantu. Ngifuna ukuyichaza kahle abantu ba understand. Umuntu unemali, maka nemali uye emabrothelini. Maka emabrothelini wenzelani? Ucabane nomfazi wakhe. Akakwazi ukuthi asolve into that time. Unalento ukuthi maka ngaya lo amntana umxoxela ukuthi ulala kanjani nalabo bantu labo, uzoba sober, uzobuya sekapholile. You understand me? So omunye umuntu ungibhekile, angimjudge umuntu ne, ngitry ukuthi na uncedeke lapho khona as we are speaking today. It's good to communicate or to forgive the person mawube nengxaki naye for that time. Abanye abantu banalento ukuthi I will drink or I will take drugs and kwenzakalani. So after that thing, phela kunama level kuyaphaswa nasesikolweni noma bengacabanga that time ukuthi ngizophasa. Umalume mangilobe ngihamba and I was doing good that time. Yazi uma uyenza izinto ezimbi uba nama shoulders uthi
uyaphumelela.
Yabo mina. Umalume athi ayisize yabona. so usema-brothalini usema-clubsini ngifuna ukuthi manje utravele uphase manje kule angithi mose prison bathi baba ama-26 babe ama-whatever uyaphasa so ngifuna ukuthi utravele uhambe eBrazil. Oh my god, I said yes yo ini akaqedi nokhuluma. I'm like yo uyazizwa lo muntu uthini vele yabo ngifuna because angithi besibona abo MC Hammer nabo bani bekunalento ukuthi hey yo uyenza lento yabo, see these people hey.
Ngicela ume kancane. So for young kids who don't know who MC Hammer is, when I'm born in 1990, kunama 2000 abukele. Umuntu ozalwa ngo-2000 una 22. MC Hammer was a rapper who made 30 million and he blew that money. But ngabo 1992, 93, 94 he was super famous. Please continue. Sorry about that.
Okay, no, it's fine. Kubalekile ukuthi sibaxoxela abantu ngoba bayabukela and bayacomment but hey sis, the other time they said I don't know how to speak English. Ithi ngintsheleni ke ngiyangibona imedia is not pap and place ne imedia is not pap and place. Omunye umuntu uyabona Nkululeko today yabo singathi siyaxoxisana but omunye umuntu unale cut yabona sekuyisikhathi but namhlanje nizothola yonke information and I hope you will subscribe please. So ngile private school please bakwethu.
Thank you. You went to private school at the wrong time because you would have actually been maybe bewuzoba business yakho because it's a good digital age manje, and if you went to private school maybe in about 2004 if you were born later in your life maybe at this point you would have been leading a media business. But anyhow, you are amazed by the idea of Brazil. Immediately you say let's go. What was it about Brazil? You were explaining about MC Hammer. You thought that Brazil and America is the same place or it's overseas anyways?
Yeah, I thought it's another, no, I thought it's London and it was America. Yabo. Khona into esingayifundi, khona America, khona London, ne? It's Latin America futhi. Akusi straight London. So bengicanga ukuthi London, yabona. Kanjalo.
Yeah, so Brazil is South America and yeah, because you are taking a flight, you will be excited going there. Thina ke bantu be football siyazi ngebhola ke Brazil, abo Ronaldo, nabo nabo Ronaldinho. And so he's talking to you about this idea Brazil, niyakhuluma, and you are open to it. What did you understand about that? Were you going to go with drugs to there or go take drugs from there to here?
Bekufanele ngiyothatha, ne? Angithi it's where headquarters uthatha khona. So bekufanele ngiyothatha ama drugs ngibuye nawe la eSouth Africa. Kwenzakalani umalume makangitshela mina sikhuluma Nkululeko bekathe kubhadaliwe ne masikhuluma ngithi uyaxoxa kanje mntanami uzohamba eBrazil but uzoba in a safe side ngoba kubhadaliwe yabona they've already paid everything ukubhadala makasho kanjalo ukubhadala ukuthi kubhadale airport ukuthi ngingabanjwa uyabona. So waye communicator nalo umuntu loyo ngikhona ukuthi is everything clear because I don't want anything about this child uyabona. But bekanga name ukuthi this one is my nephew uyabona kanjalo. So bengiya eBrazil nginalento ukuthi ngizobuya angeke ngiboshwe kubhadaliwe.
Yeah, and you went eventually.
Yes.
Yeah, how was that? What happened when you went to Brazil?
Yazi mangi eBrazil ne angithi bayakubhalela ukuthi mawufika ngale inamba yangale ya change phela so kwelinyizwe.
Yes.
Ukuthi it's America khona inamba ufanele uzifake mawufanele ufone.
Engo 083 110 whatever.
Yes. Kwenzakalani ngisuke lana ngihambe ngifike mangifika eBrazil ngilahla iphepha. Lokuthi angazwibe kwi-excitement ukuthi hey phela eBrazil lokuthi ifanele ngidayile ama number angapha kanjani. Mangilahla iphepha ngifika e-airport angikwazi ukwitiza that time ukuthi ngizokwitiza ngithini but bakhona abantu abakhuluma English angithi everywhere is like that if you reach yabona. So ngifike ke Brazil ngibuza umunye umuntu hello you speak English athi yes what do you want ngithi taxi ngisho imeter taxi ne angibonise kumitha taxi bese ngiyamtshela engqondweni yami kulela phepha kudumo Ibis Hotel ngoba wayesengqondweni noma iphepha lilahlekile ngithi I'm going to Ibis Hotel at okay I will show you ngikhohliwe ukuthi kubhalweni yipi because ngaba khona iProtea Hotel Holiday kodwa yipi kuphi
in different locations.
Yes, so angise kwe yakheke lo baba lo ngifike kamampela nama bags ami ngene mangena ukhumbula ukuthi ngilahle icode yala ukuthi ngizodayela ngithi yabo ngifunani ngithi ayithi ngilale for one day ngirelaxe the second day ngihambe ngiyothenga ilona iSIM card yokuthi ngizofonela umalume ngibabuze eairport ukuthi mawudayela yabona inamba yase South Africa ufakani but no ungafoni ngelona nge-cellphone phone ngefone yasehotel obhadalila ngithi and then ngifone ngimtshele lume ngifikile la athe bese ngiworried yabona angithi mafian stuff yabe sengiworried phela ucabanga ibusiness lo muntu akanandaba nempilo yami ucabanga ibusiness ukuthi lona kanti uphi manje imali yabona ngithi okay ngifikile athi okay uyenzeni ngithi ngithenge iSIM card nawo amanamba ami ngipha amanamba ami ayenza ukuthi umuntu ongale angifonele kule SIM card yami ukuthi ngizokwazi ukuthi ngihlangane naye kwaba njalo ke Nkululeko.
Okay. Right, so you're in Brazil, you communicate with your uncle and everything is sorted out in terms of now you will be able to connect with the person lo lahle inamba yakhe.
Yes.
Okay, in your first few days in Brazil. I'm curious to ask you about drugs but we'll get there. Ukuthi what was your understanding of the different drugs and price? I remember when I was growing up there were mandrakes in South Africa.
Yes.
I don't know at what point is cocaine introduced or even was it earlier. All right, maybe let's go there. We'll talk about what happened to you in Brazil. Did you have an understanding as a young woman, as a 20-year-old, ukuthi le kuyi mandrakes, le kuyi ecstasy, le kuyi in and do you remember which one was in demand? What did it do to you emzimbeni wakho? What happened when you were consuming it?
Yes. Phela was selling this thing and begune heroin.
Heroin.
Yes, heroin uyaz injector ne. Heroin bakwethu ethengise lokishini asi heroin. Ngiyangizwa ngithi. Okay. Heroin ethengiswa emalokishini asi heroin. Ukwaqa. iParaguay iFongkong ye heroin. Heroin ekhona ise dropping right. Crack ethengiswa emalokishini asi crack yamampela amafufura azo zonke lezo zinto. Why? Le yaselokishini ile emixwa nestarch. Why wena mawubhema uwonywa umlomo ube mhlophe la? It's because by mixing nestarch negrandpa nazo zonke izinto ezifuna ukumixwa. So why ngisho kanje ngiyakutshela namhlanje wena ozobubhekelele le lona le video ukuthi le besiphatha thina bekuyamampela because bengihamba emasababhisini that time. So bezidifara ke bese kuba khona necrack. What was in demand that time bekuyi crack. Thengwa kakhulu. Yabona. And what was in demand kakhulu bekuyi ecstasy ngoba nami that time bengiyithatha ikwenza hyper. Abantu abathatha ecstasy baphuza amanzi kakhulu, abantu abafuna ukuba active yabona bayenze ezinye izinto ezirong. So ecstasy was on demand nayo. And enye ecstasy la emalokishini wrong. Ile ehlanganiswa nevinika ngitsheleni wrong. So ngiyakutshela ukuthi yekela lawo ma drugs awekho right ngoba mina ngwathengisile nyawazi ngidlulile kuwo ngithathile ecstasy. Beyingenza ukuthi ngihamba and bekuyamampela that time. Be in demand ithengiswe emaklapini ithengiswa na kwezinye indawo.
All right, you can look at me now. I want to ask you something then about the different effects of laoma drugs. Now you know ecstasy, you were consuming it. What is the difference between consuming 2? Is 1 enough? Is 4 an overdose? What would happen to me consuming different tablets of ecstasy if it's a tablet?
It's overdose because
Ikala number bani overdose. How many?
Itungijela i1 overdose nje but Nkululeko. Why? Because angithi uyithatha every day and it goes to your veins, angithi it goes to your pores and it goes to your heart. Mangathi niyabheka la endaweni edrobheni ubona lo amkhulu loya ukuthi umkhulu akusomkhulu mncane bekathatha ama drugs aye ahamba emzimbeni wakhe umuntu uyambona ukuthi makathi mawumbuza uthi how old are you at I'm 34 uthi ngoba bengayithathi i1 and bengiyithatha every day so one is overdose because khona ama drugs lapha yela khona angithi ngifundile mina manje ngawo khona lapha yakhona khona abanye abantu mabathatha ama drugs uyayichamela umuntu because khona lapha yakhona angithi kusuke maybe anama kidney problem but ngoba uthathe i1 uthinta lapho umuntu agcina ichamela
and do you know how it affects sex for example because a lot of people use it for different things. I've been around people who take crystal meth. I'm from Cape Town and that's a big drug there. And I've been around young teenagers when I was a teenager where I noticed that we were drinking with some of my friends, but bona they're not getting drunk. And I've heard Uguti, maybe it's the effect of it take Uguti because you were taking crystal meth. I mean, I never took it, but they were taking crystal meth and they were drinking. And one time I went to sleep, not deeper because I'm drunk when I was maybe 16. When I get up again, maybe 4 hours later, they're still fresh. And someone was saying like crystal meth, it's the effect of the drug and alcohol in your system. I don't know whether it equalizes alcohol. You don't get drunk quick. Were you aware of that? Ama drugs, Uguti, sometimes some of them don't make you feel Uguti you're drunk.
Kakhulu ecstasy le, akuse crystal meth. Ecstasy because iyenzele lo umsebenzi leyo. Angithi into nento iyenzele ukuthi ipurpose ukuthi wenze into so ngesikhathi so. So i-crack nayo injalo ke. Ama drugs abulala nobabayi ke. Abantu abathatha ama drugs kakhulu abasakhona ukulala nabantu babo. Kodwa khona amanye like i-ecstasy uba high abantu bakhona bahlale ba right. And abomama ba complain ukuthi yo uyangibulala ngoba yena usuka ayithathile umama angayithathanga. So uyabona ukuthi yabulala into enjalo ukuthi yena uyabona persistent ukuthi hey akakhathali and ufana sikhulume ngento ezinje even though I'm a woman of God now ufana sikhulume abantwana abazazi ukuthi ecstasy iyenza ukuthi yazi ngicela ukugugulele legama ecstasy uze ukuthi lithini to become hyper
ecstatic
yabo so abathatha ecstasy ayibhalo othatha crack uthi ukuthi zuphu athi umama uthi ulale yonke into
and at that time you're saying ecstasy was in demand. I need to ask a more important question about supply. Were you aware at the time that where is all of this coming from other than your uncle? Where was the pipeline? And also even perhaps the dangers of being in competition with other drug suppliers. Was the competition there? People could kill you because you are selling in their territory. Suburbs, and there's a danger there at the time.
No, that time it was not like that. But manje ikhona lento le. Dala ukhumbula ukuthi Sizakele bekathulile bengekho umuntu owazi ukuthi ngenza lezo zinto ezinjani angithi. So I was a smooth operator that time. Hey my God. Hey yes. Bengekho into enjalo ukuthi hey there's danger. Yazi ukuthi ukuya Brazil it was danger oqala. Isibinde singaka ngingumntwana ongako that time it was danger. Ukuthi uthatha isinqumo esinjani ukuthi umncane kangaka uzuye lapho uyabona into mawuyenza khona into iexample engifuna ukuyenza manje uyazi ukuthi umuntu makazobulala umuntu ne angithi akaplan ne iyafika leyo nto leyo so nami mangiyenza lento leyo that time bengingana novalo lokuthi ngifuna ukueda kulento busho ukuthi abantu bebafa nebunkuleko bebafa but bonganandaba bobheka imali yabona umjump umuntu khona lapho besiya khona ama territory emnyama ndawo ngifuna ukuyiname like yabona edrobheni bekathi umuntu thokuthi umuntu maybe bekano shukela or bekanani athatha into enjalo iaffecte leyo nto leyo mase kunjalo besijumpa and bekwenzakala umuntu bekaphatha igold card and abantu mabathengisa ama drugs or mabayothenga ama drugs banikeza abantu amaphinapho abanandaba banalento ukuthi bafuna lento abayifuna that time so before bengekho lento ama ukuthi hey I'm afraid of who you were doing your things.
Was there any fear for you about the possibility of addiction Because one of the worst things you can do is to sell drugs and also consume drugs because you can kill the business. Njengoba wena you were taking ecstasy, sorry. Were you aware that there's a possibility of addiction? Did you know at that point ukuthi kuyini addiction?
Mawuthatha ama-drugs kune spirit esinganandaba ngitshela. That spirit masowathathile ama-drugs bacabanga ukuthi amnandi. Angeke ngithi amnandi ngoba are very wrong. Mawuthatha ama-drugs kufana ne-grandpa ayi-drugs, ne? Mawuphethe ikhanda uzothi ngifuna ama-drugs. Angithi ngifuna i-grandpa, ngifuna i-grandpa. Hey mangathola i-grandpa and ngiyazi ukuthi izoba right. Ikanjalo i-drugs ukuthi hey mangihlabile, hey ngibaphara, ngiyakhohlwa ukuthi kwenzakalani. Uyabona unalento ukuthi mfethu mina ukhohlwa ukuthi unempilo. Ukhohlwa ukuthi kusasa uzoba umuntu. Unalento ukuthi if I take ecstasy, you know, I'm becoming hyper. You know what I mean? You know, I go wherever I want to go. Uyakhohlwa ngomzimba wakho. Ne ukuthi aya somewhere. Uyibona lento le. So ama drugs ayi spirit. Yeah, ayi spirit ukuthi maso wathathile analento ukuthi ngithathe. And angithi that time maso wathengisa bese nalento ukuthi mawahambe abulala abantu. Into oyatharayo ngomlomo wakho iyayenzakala.
All right, let's go back to Brazil. You are there a couple of days. At some point you meet, you connect in Brazil. Was suitcase yakho bekwimali so that you can pay him, so that you can take drugs? Just describe to us what happened in your meeting, and did you exchange money? How much did he give you? What happened? Everything that happened in Brazil.
No, ukhumbule ukuthi angithi lo muntu bengiyekuye ukhulumile nomalume idili kaMalume ngithi.
Okay.
Mina imali engiphe yona beyikile ukuthi mangifika amhlambe bebacabanga, I'm assuming ukuthi hey lo mangalahleka abe na something esandleni. Leyo mali bengiyiphethe that time. Ukuthi ngifikele yile eyanginceda ukuthi ngibooke ihotela. Uyabona? About connection, everything was for umalumami yonke into ukuthi ukubhadaliwe yonke into. Mina benyolanda nje kuphela. Yes.
So there could have been an international transfer of money.
Yes.
Whatever they did, there was an exchange there, so that when you just pick up.
Yes.
Okay. And did you meet the guy? How was your meeting with the guy?
As I told you, ukuthi bengilahlekile ne kule hotela ebengigulo. Kwayenzakalani wangifonela ke ngithi bengithenge i-SIM card ngabe ne-phone. Wangifonela wangibuza ukuthi ngikuphi, ngamtshela ukuthi bengikuphi that time, and then senda i-taxi eBrazil awekho amakhumbi bakwethu khona mamitha taxi.
Maybe things have changed now.
Yeah, so akuna makhumbi, so angilethela i-taxi
Amakhumbi la sejove kumana 3 or 1. I don't even know how that means. In Cape Town we just say 1.
Is it?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Please continue, sorry.
Yeah, so ngahamba ke ngamitha lapho ngimitha khona ubhuti lo. Angithi mawuhamba uba ne contact ukuthi fanele uhlangane nobani kuphi, ngihlangane naye. Mawuzohlangana nalo muntu lo muntu ufana kufihle ngoba kuvuliwa amehlo eBrazil ukuthi hey esimbonayo samtshontsha, yabo. So angisemnyama ndawo hotel le angisekuyo ukuthi no wena Sizakele uzoba kule hotela eso ngoba akafuna abanye bangibone. Late in the day, hey yazi le story simnandi yazi ngiyasithanda. Sizofundisa abanye abantu njengoba ngikhuluma. Kwenzakalani ubhuti kunokho umuntu ebusuku ke. Hawu la ngisawotela ngaziwa bani. Ngibheka ngithi khona le nto encane. Hayi uye ngivule uphethe i-laptop nemali kodwa akayikhiphi. Hayi. And ukhumbula ukuthi ku lady ngifake into zokulala angithi ezeke athi hayi akangibizi ngaleli la ka Sizakele ukuthi hi Yvonne ngithi hi hey yazini how are you? Oh English AC is amantombazana nje is uzothi the way akhuluma ngakhona hey you no man accent yakhe yeah accent yakhe yo yeah yo namagwegwe nabantu ukuthi hey I height namagwegwe yo I perfume yakhe yabo. So afike ke eyibhutwa beka handsome ngiyakutshela wena. Hayi Nkululeko beka nuka kamnandi. Amadoda ayakwazi ukuhehana. bathi amantombazana athi hey singamafisha amadoda amafisha akwazi ukuhehana agezile kubhuti hey ashaye nento zakhe idurayo ke hey uyabona ukuthi khona kancane ngithi siyabheka ke bobhuti uthi bekagcoke altin egna uyabo yabo bekagcokeni yo bekafaka icover la inavigate yabona lezo zinto ezinjalo hey mawusemhlabeni uzobona izinto ezingathi ngibheke angene kubhuti athi Yvonne like ufuna ukungibamba ngithi athi come here closer to me ngithi no kanjani ngithi no angithi nginami phela ngisezweni ngithi no ngichange manje ebusweni yaphela uclever manje ukuthi hey athi no I just want to have fun with you hey lo muntu akangazi ungibone namhlanje bese bathi amantombazane no strings attached yo idignity yentombazana yo so athi yazi wenzeni manje sakakhipha imali amadola ukuthi no I will give you the amount that you want iyakulandela into yazi bengilandelelwa yini angithi bengihamba nabo mahosha that time ngibathengisela so lento shuthi besegazini kimi that time ukuthi yabona hallo ufana nabo ngoba into mawuyenza uhamba nabantu abanye yakufanele noma wena ungayenzi.
Maybe you start dressing like that.
No,
maybe it was the makeup. Maybe you started wearing like that.
It was in the night. Phela bengifaka ama night
Okay.
ne gown. Yabo so ubutati no I just want to have fun with you like you know we just play even in Brazil no strings attached you just give you money and you have sorted. Imagine you get money here you're going to go and buy your clothes you know ngithi no I don't want. Kulapho kwaqala inkinga khona ukuthi angifuni ukumamela lento afuna ukuthi ngiyenze.
Yeah, and the timing, you are not foreseeing Wuti, this is the only person I know in this country. And if I take care of him, everything will be sorted out for me. You were not looking at it from that perspective, Wuti. Lenjale, ingangifaka enkingeni if I don't give him what he wants.
Yo, bakuduma upoti anakuduma imali engqondweni.
Yeah.
If you are doing something, if you are stealing, you must know that you go to prison because you are stealing. You understand? If you are taking drugs, you must know ukuthi uzoguga umncane. Uzoshwabana umncane and abanye abantu banalento le ukuthi my family does not want me. Wenzela bani favor? Ifamily yakho. Wena uzokhula ube umuntu ube ubaba ube umama and then ube i-preacher kusasa ube i-president kusasa. Don't look at somebody because the future is yours.
Yeah.
Yabo. So
you reject him on one night. What happens thereafter?
The second day akabuya ulwa umuntu loya ebesikhulume kahle. Hi, how are you? But unalento ukwabona umuntu makakufuna ne ufuna ukubamba ibele uyabona ukuthi uzoya lapho kusasa manje uyakhuluma serious but but why serious but unevoice say why are you not getting close ngithi no let's sikhuluma mina ngizena ngalento engize ngayo nami ngiba serious manje ukuthi lele afuna ungigavula ibele ngithi no ngizoscreama phela la iwater la phela ngizoscreama athi okay no let's speak ngizozifaka phinto zakho ngithi uzozifaka phi kanjani wena ubhadalwanga ukuthi wenze lo msebenzi akunalapho wena uzoqabanga ukuthi nami ngiba street manje ukuthi asingachange iface yami ukuthi wena uzobona ukuthi uzifaka phi yeah akusekho mnandi manje athi konje wena bathe ungahlala isikhathi eside lapho ngithi bathe ungahlala isikhathi eside so yenza ke athi okay uyazi uzoyenzani into engifuna ukutshela yona important uzosuka la eSão Paulo uhamba eRio de Janeiro capital city yase Brazil and then nama trucks so that's it.
Okay, and then what happens? Like you do go to Rio de Janeiro.
Yes.
Are you in a different where were you?
I was in Sao Paulo.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you have to go to Rio de Janeiro to connect to South Africa.
Yes.
Okay, and what happens?
No, not to connect.
What happens?
I supposed to go to yazi wenza njani umuntu nomuntu nokuzwa athi bengifanele ngilahla umkhondo. There's a way they do things ukuthi ngizolahla umkhondo. So benginalento ukuthi athi uzolahla umkhondo but athi no but mangikhapha lapha ebhasini ne uye ebhasini ngifuna ukukutshengisa namhlanje something ngicela ufunde bengise Sao Paulo ne Rio de Janeiro ngebhasi mara makanginikeza ama drugs wangicabuza bekathi hayi wena ngizokubetray yabo syndicate ukuthi hey ngiyakubetray manje wena Sizakele but it was not in my mind yabona bengingana lento ukuthi hayi yabona kuzoyenzakalani
a kiss of death.
yeah so ngimcabuze ke phela unginikeza ama-drugs and ngiyamcabuza amaphoyisa phela everywhere eBrazil.
It's a signal.
Yeah, so mangiceda ngimncabuze ngebhasini ngifika Rio de Janeiro. Hey my god. Mangifika kulela hotela lelia. Yo, mangithi ngiyangena ehotela bathi mawungena ehotela la bakubuza ukuthi uzofuna indoda. Khona bomahosha bamadoda. Like ngithi no how enhlizweni ngithi ngizoyenza lento ngizolala nje one day la mangiceda ngiyise lento
check in.
Yeah. So nangempela mangise Rio de Janeiro ama drugs bengwaphethe ngichecke in emshinini ngawo kodwa azange akhale titi ayenze abonisa ukuthi khona ama drugs bengenzani bengithatha iplane bekani ukumosha imali indiza mshini ngibuyela eSao Paulo but angisabuyeli manje kuphi ngibuyela eLonen in airport ukuthi ngizohamba eSouth Africa ngize la eSouth Africa. So Rio de Janeiro ngicheckile in nama drugs azange ngibanjwe. Lento beyingenza ukuthi ngibe neboldness ukuthi yo mawusha ihaste uthi ngiyangashaya kayi1 azange bangibamba. Hey ngazenzela isini and I was ukuthi ifamily yakho lo idubulile at that time. Uthi hey yabona so nga checka in ngahamba nawo ama drugs ngafika eSao Paulo. eSao Paulo bengiphe ama instructions into nento inama instructions ukuthi ubuilda kanjani wenza kanjani. So mangifika lapho kuthiwa ama drugs awa check in uwafaka ngenye indlela and then mawuceda lapho usiphi number le abazokupha yona. So it's what I did.
And what happens after that?
Mawuceda ukuchecka in ngithi sengiwayisile ngisendela umalume ukuthi nayi code engitholile sengenze yonke into excuse me ukuthi everything is well ukuthi yonke into iphumelele manje yo ajabula malume yo uyambile na manje kwenzakalani mawuceda ukwenza yonke lento le uyahlala phansi umele iplan to come angithi ngayenzani ngahamba ngayothenga incwadi kanti leyo ncwadi neLand Rover yo ngathi yilento bengihambele vele naye sengikhuluma nencwadi manje mawenza into ezirong ugcine ngathi awuthathi kahle enhloko ukuthi yo lento so checke in uthi yo yazini bazongibona kahle yo and ngizobuya kwesithula mangibuya shooting ngizoba neemonto ezinga yabona ukhuluma uyi1 ngathi uyahlanya so makufanele ngiya sengiselayinini yokungena eplanini kuza amaphoyisa aphethe iphepha angibhebelo babheka usizakele ngithi yes nguye come with us. I'm like kubhadaliwe yiko ngithathwa mina ngoba mina ngispecial vele kubhadaliwe. Hey kuphi sithola ama drugs ebhekini yakho yazini that time bengathukanga ngitshele iqiniso nginalento ukuthi hayi mabaceda bazongibisela hayi yabona iconnection. So kwatholakala ukuthi amaphoyisa ayasho ukuthi Sizakele wena sithola ama drugs ebhekini yakho unote ebhekini yakho kule ikhula box yase Brazil different angithi. So bekweyincane sithola ama drugs and lama drugs it's 100% cocaine uyabona mabakhuluma cocaine. So you are going to prison nalapha ngibelieve sengiseseselini ukuthi phelile game phelile into kamalume phelile ukudlala manje ngiye prison ngi1 ngaboshwa kanjalo.
Wow. It feels like when I'm watching there's something called airport whatever with National Geographic airport security or something. I used to watch that maybe 10 years ago or something. And then they'll say in Colombia it testa positiva de cocaína. They take it if it changes blue.
Você fala português, você fala espanhol. Entendeu?
Do you need an attorney at this point? What happened to you? I mean, it's a predicament. You are in a country with a language that you don't understand. Are you just placed in a cell without any appearance in court? And what was going through your mind in all of that? Just take us through what you went through and maybe your thought process as well. Were you depressed with all of that? Le Portuguese, and I don't know anyone here. I cannot call anyone here.
Bekunama interpreters ne mawuceda ukuboshwa bakubizela wona ukuthi wena Sizakele sowuboshiwe ke manje ilo izoyithola phi ngoba wazi umuntu oyi1 lo yabuye kuye. So ilo izoyithola phi eBrazil mawuboshwe namhlanje akunalento ukuthi kusasiye court ngitsheleni uyahlala uhlala isikhathi eside. So ngifuna ukunibeka ukuthi ipicture yami ukuboshwa ngacala ngathuka sengiboshiwe bekufanele ngicale ngithuke ukuya in a country where I don't know anybody and I don't know how to speak the language. But ngacale ngathuka and then ngacale ngathola ama periods pain and I went into my periods same day. Phela ukhumbule ukuthi manje sengihlangahlangane ukuthi kwenzakalani and then bakwenzani baya kuphi phone ukuthi ufone. So it's why I call the wife of my uncle ukuthi hayi kubhedile ngiboshiwe nina lungisani. Bengicabanga ukuthi mangikhuluma kanjalo kusasa ngecourt mina ukuthi bazongithumelela lawyer or bazothenga case phela ikhona imali lezo zinto ezinjalo. But a little did I know ukuthi ngisazohlala. Yabona. So shooting ngangiboshwe e-airport. So bekufanele bangisuse bangise police station yakhona. So kwaba njalo ke bang explain ukuthi hayi la baningi abantu base South Africa, base Jamaica, base Holland, ungathuki hayi sizijwayele into ezinje wena relax. Ngarelaxa kanjani ngiboshiwe? Ukuboshwa kubhlungu. Khumbula una freedom. Khumbula ngeke udle ukudla okuthandayo. Angeke use phone that time. Uboshiwe. Ukuba isiboshwa kubhlungu, awuna freedom, uyisiboshwa kubhlungu.
This is 98, 99, like late 90s or early 2000s?
Early 2000.
Early 2000, maybe around 2000, 2001.
2006.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I just wanted to get the timeline in my bearings with that. It's the Germany World Cup. Tina abantu bathanda ibhola, we were watching the World Cup in Germany, France and Italy playing in the final. When you enjoy holiday, Brazil.
Holiday? Oh, Nkululeko, how?
Yeah, isikhathi sehamba, you are in a Brazilian jail. You are sentenced to how many years? Was it a harsh sentence in your opinion? Were you fairly treated in your court proceedings? Well, sorry, just before you go there, I know that in other countries, as you're telling the story, I'm thinking, if you were arrested maybe in China or Thailand, that's a death sentence.
Yes.
In other countries, it's a death sentence or life sentence. Yeah, just take us through the court proceedings. How many years were you arrested for? Did they give you a legal aid lawyer? Who was representing you?
Khumbula ukuthi phela angithi umalume ne njengoba connected eBrazil ne okay ithi ngiyenze so mangiboshwa angithi sengisuka epolice station bangise prison eBrazil usuka epolice station eprison ungakaye court.
Yeah.
So ngifuna ukukutshela namhlanje mawucabanga ukuthatha ama drugs ukuthi akukho easy mawufuna ukutravela uyitshelile ukuthi ufuna ukuya kwelinye ilizwe because ufuna imali u desperate that time. Akukho easy emazweni angaphandle. Akukho easy. Ngibheke ebusweni ubone akukho easy. Kubhlungu ukuba ezweni engaselakho ungazi umuntu uboshiwe. Akekho umuntu okuvisitayo awukwazi ukukhuluma ilanguage abayikhulumayo. Kwenzakalani bangisa like Sun City manje sengisukile John Foster nge Sun City. Mangifike Sun City yaseBrazil ngiyahlala. So ugcoka nempahla zakhona sebakunikeza. Uyazi ukuthi ebacking la benginawo ukuthi lo muntu ngangiye kuye wayefaka iskipa esimhlophe afake nebruku lase prison.
Just for a round of sex.
So bekazile ukuthi yena uzokhulumisana namaphoyisa ukuthi bathatha ama drugs bawathengisa mina nyaboshwa. So ukuthatha isinqumo sokuthi uyothatha ama drugs ucabanga ukuthi i-fast cash kubi because uyaphumelela ungaphumeleli. Uyabona. So ngihlaleke ngiyahlala e-trialing ukuya before ngiye court. Ngihlala into engange 8 months ngingayi court. uNkulunkulu bekasafuna ukungibona ukuthi wena bocabanga ukuthi uhlakaniphile ngifuna ukubona ukuthi unjani. And then bekasaletha ukuhila ukuthi ngikwatile bakwethu ngifuna ukuyichaza lento bengimbalela umali mama malethe utshela angithi mawufika khona abanye abantu abalapha bazokuassista ngeitembu nangani ukuthi sokunceda ukhumbula ukuthi roll on beyincane bengicabanga ukuthi ngihamba 7 days so bengiphethe icream encane ne roll on encane ngingaphethanga ama pads ngingaphethanga next. So bekhona abanye abantu kwamanye ama country angithi mawufika yabona they have to give you. So ngahlala 8 months ngingayi court but umalume after 8 months leyo sakhona ukuthi sitholane sikhulume. Angithi phela kunemfonomfono lapha khona lapho. So the main issue ukuthi wathumela lawyer mangilapha eBrazil sengina 8 months angithi wayethukile naye ukuthi lo uzongikhipha yabona ukuthi asho ukuthi mabe ngikhuluma ngithunywa mali mama wayathumela ilawyer so after 8 months ngakhona ukuthi ngithola umuntu ozayo angithengele izinto it's where ilawyer iyobuza ukuthi why lo muntu angaye court uhleleleni uyabona but I no besamela ijudge ukuthi ayelapho and then inside prison but Nkululeko ngaqala ke ukuthi ngizazi khona question ongibuze yona ukuthi you never had like ama goals ukuthi wena uzoba umuntu yabona it's when I got in prison ngaba nesikhathi sami ukuthi manje ngithi how ngadlala ngesikhathi ukuthi ngubani and yini into engayenza uyabona so inside prison bebathi angazi bebabonene eBrazil shuthi abantu angithi ngiyengafunda ukukutuza phela bengazi ukuthi ngizohlala isikhathi singakanani phakathi eprison bese ngikutuza ke ngithi bonjiya but bengiyela khona manje ngikhuluma fluent so ngaqala ngakhuluma iSportuguese abantu ebebefanele babeze bakhanselishiwe bebabiza mina amaphoyisa ukuthi ngoza Sizakele woza nangumuntu bebabona how I'm so carry so kulapho engibone khona ukuthi ngilider kanti I can do something I can speak with my mouth yabona ukuthi okay ngiphela kakhulu engqondweni and then nasemlonyeni ngiphiwe ukuthi ngiyakwazi ukukhuluma so I realize ukuthi I'm a speaker inside prison.
That's a long way to figure that out. That's a long way to figure out, but it's beautiful. It's a beautiful story nonetheless that you find your purpose there.
Yes.
But Jesus, you have to go first to Brazil to find your purpose. You were sentenced how many years?
I was sentenced 5 years.
And as you doing this translation, helping people to translate, what were the stories of the women that were coming there? Was it a common drug story all the time? And which countries were they commonly from?
South Africa, my dear. Abekho abantu and ekhona into eyenzakalayo ngicela mawungizwa ngihlale ngijumpa lento thank God ukuthi sibe nesikhathi today. Khona into eyenzakalayo abantu mababoshwe in other countries like here ne angithi I visit prisons, I do prison ministry, but ngicela mawungizwa une access yokuthi ngakhona ukuthi ngiyenze I direct prison ministry, I'm here please ne kwenzakalani ngiya not every time maybe umuntu yangibiza ukuthi Sizakele hamba uye prison kukhona but Nkululeko you'll be surprised abantu bangene prison bangazazi ukuthi ba pregnant into kwakwenzakalani angithi lo muntu lo bekafuna ukulala nami khona abantu abalala nabo bavume basaba ukuthi maybe kuzenzakala something bayenza kulobe kunjalo noma bakulalile bazokulala baphinde bakuse prison futhi kwenzakalani baningi abantwana bangena la eSun City ababuye ePeru ababuye eVenezuela njengoba nathi sigcwele eBrazil awubekho abantu abagcwele eBrazil njengama South African hayi futhi njengoba uthi ubuye eCape Town amaXhosa maningi so majority yabantu abaseBrazil ama South Africans intsheleni and thina sibuya in a country where yabona iSouth Africa njani but majority of people were in Brazil ama South Africans.
Yeah, and it's a common story that when they need your service to translate bayakutshela nje stories fanayo most of the time ukuthi I was or maybe when they're talking to you are they upfront about it or base ku denial they don't even trust wena ukuthi you're going to tell their story to the authorities.
Bunkule kuthini khona abantu abakudinala even now abaphumile abakhuluma kulona ku media abathi abazange bayenza manga abanye abazi yes is the truth but the most of 90% yabantu abathatha ama drugs bias uyapi umuntu athi uzoya ku country yothola umsebenzi ongawazi uvume okokuqala kuna something wrong lapho angithi uyabona ukuthi kunama siyakhuluma njengoba sikhuluma umuntu uyak-approach manje ukuthi go to Brazil and uyazi go to China uyothola umsebenzi kulamalanga we are fortunate ukuthi kulamalanga khona imedia kanje sifunda into eningi sikhuluma kanje because asigceke umuntu asenze umuntu ukuthi ayenzani ngikhuluma out of confidence ukuthi Sizakele ngiyenzile lento but be wrong ukuthi wena ungayenzi angithi but kulamalanga abantu the most of them they will lie and say, I got this boyfriend, waqale wangithengela izinto. Zikhona izinto eziningi like abomama kunupi bayakhuluma nge-human trafficking. Uyabona ukuthi baqale bathengele kulamalanga ama-gifts, bakheha ngama-gift. Ukuthi umuntu akude, why azoloba kufakela $1,000 and uyivuma? Makathi iza lapha engikhona, awutsheli nabazali bakho. Wrong. And then after uthi besa wazi, no.
Yeah. Was it easy for you to pick up Brazilian? Portuguese, sorry?
Yes, bengazazi ukuthi ngihlakaniphile noma bengidoji isikolo. Yeah, I never knew ngegrace futhi not ngokuhlakanipha ne. Bengazi enye into ke prison I found out ukuthi I'm a leader, that I was a pastor. Shuthi bekukhona abantu abazayo every time abazuza ukuthi bengazi nokuthi ngiyakwazi ukuworshipa, ukuthi I'm a worshipper, ukuthi hey, I can worship. Yabona ngibone sengise prison babona lento beyikimi ukuthi there's something different. Mari ithi ngasi bekhona mangisahamba like ezweni before bengithanda ukuhlangana nalabo gogo abadala bathi yes wena mntanami ucalled, ngithi gogo ucalled yini called i-called. Yabona ngingazi ukuthi ngibiziwe, uyabona ukuthi ngileader, ukuthi ngileader abantu. So njengoba mangikhuluma nabantu bengasakhulumi nabantu ukuthi ngimcomforta ngani, bengimcomfort umuntu ngezwi ukuthi you know before you came here Jesus foreknew ukuthi you will come in this place. Inside your mother's womb there was a certain time that God written, uyabona ukuthi it is written, yonke impilo zethu zibhaliwe before thina sizas ukuthi wena Nkululeko uzoba so. Uyabona God foreknew ukuthi kune scripture engisithandayo kakhulu mase kukhuluma ngoNkulunkulu abantu bayadineka but angeke ngingakwazi ukukhuluma ngoNkulunkulu because Nkululeko uNkulunkulu has saved my life. eBrazil isikhathi ngiseBrazil azange kube khona irebellion, khona into abayibiza rebellion bayenzani eBrazil, khona ama gangster afana before namajimbos. Uyakhumbula before eEldorado Park yabona amakhaladi bekunamajimbos. So kunama gangster eBrazil bewayenzani, bewabulala amaphoyisa phakathi, kurule bona phakathi. So mina that time ngiseBrazil iGrace yangithola, ngatholwa iGrace ukuthi ingabi khona le rebellion, ukuthi kubulalwane that time. Cabanga ukuthi uNkulunkulu ngithande kangakanani, ukuthi azange ibe khona, ukuthi uNkulunkulu bekathi wena siza ngifuna ukuthi udlule kanje ukwazi ukuthi ube yileader, utshele umuntu makangitshela istory like mina bengimtshela iqiniso ukuthi mina ngithunywa umali mama. Lele mase ngithi uJesu uyakuthanda ngimhaka. Kulamalanga asikwazi ukuthi siphana uthando. Kakhulu in our country South Africa sekuthanda. Umuntu uyambona wena unokudla okuningi or unane eningi, uxolela ukuthi uyokulahla edustbin or uthi uyophe home ungakacali in your community. Uyabona ukuthi okay ngiphuma ku community eso kukhona maybe ama 2 rooms, yabona maybe clip spray or kuphi wena uphuma kule community yakho uthi hayi mina I'm gonna go and give eloneni ku NPO kabani, ungacali lapho ophuma khona.
Yes.
Uyabona, so uNkulunkulu ungifundisile ngine passion kakhulu yabantwana ne, ngoba ilo msebenzi bengiwenza eBrazil. Uzwe umuntu maso ucedile ukum interview at that time angithi bathi ukuthi uzomcomfort Sizakele, you'll cancel this person. Lele eze makabona i lifestyle yakho iphilayo inside prison, because eprison kuna sapatong is woman to woman. Yeah, kuyalalana lesbian.
Okay.
Ukuthi hayi uSizakele uchangile really, uyabona impilo ayenza bese ayasho ukuthi no mina ngithole lento ngomngani wami besiye clubini wathi hayi wena bekudlula kini. Uyabona ngifuna ukuadvise namhlanje ungadlula kulento odlula kuyo kulamalanga, ungaklina ama dustbin in your location, uthole leyo mali kancane. Umaponya Nkululeko azange aqale ngemaponya, waqala ngama veg. You start somewhere to become something. Uyabona, so ngifundile into eziningi ngisejele, kodwa ngangisejele ngafunda and enye into before bengichoma mina, kodwa uNkulunkulu ungahambilisha njengejubjub elibizwa marshmallow.
Oh. How did you meet the father of your only child?
Hey. Hey yeah, mongibhekile la uyasho ukuthi ngikhipha indaba mara ezizonceda omunye umuntu. Mawuboshiwe kunama correspondence niyabhalelana. shuthi like uthola ama connection inside prison ukuthi yabo njengoba la bayibiza ipassa tempo, passing time, a passa tempo. You're gonna pass time and be writing, yabona. Abanye abantu angithi ubhalela lo umuntu ukulela jail. Angithi kule prison benguye elabafazi kuphela. So akufana sesensithi ukuthi khona abafazi lana, khona amadoda elabafazi kuphela. And eBrazil mpuru ngakhohlwa. Hey, eBrazil amantombazana aseBrazil arafu. Yiwo ase prison ukudlula amadoda. Ayabulala ke. Awadlala.
Wow.
Yeah, anothando but ayabulala. So bang introduce abantu bakithi not emaBrazil ukuthi hi man, there's this guy uyabona sifuna ukuthi umbhalele yabona kanjalo saqala ke sabhalana nalo umuntu awumazi umuntu seniyabhalana ukuthi ngiyakuthanda ngizokushada abhale nering ndoneni ukuthi izobinje umuntu athi ngiyakubona ukuthi umuntu oright yabona ene enye into wrong awakam assess lo muntu ukuthi hey umuntu onjani outside yabona sona lento ukuthi yo God thank you hey Father I bless your name usuyabonga manje ubonga kanjalo ungakazi ukuthi uphe uNkulunkulu lo muntu
Sigeleke awumazi ukuthi ubulala abantu
yabo yeah so ngabhalana nalo bhuti mangibhalana naye mangiphuma ngaya kuye ngayohlala kuye uyabona so wangiphinda uyokuhlala kunento engifuna ukuthi uNkulunkulu angincede ngayo abantu mabaphuma eprison abana indawo zikhona indawo but azikho enough because njengoba ngishilo ukuthi ama South Africans maningi eloneni eprison ngihlale ngicela uNkulunkulu ngithi angiphe I don't know ama connections ne wokuthi mina lapha engidlule khona ngifuna bosisipamba badlule khona ngoba badlula ilento engizoyisho to the same mistakes that people they have already done it in prison umuntu uphuma kanandawo yokuhlala abanye bayenzani bayahosha aphuma eprison into ebuhlungu kanjani pain to pain and iprison enkulu akusi prison iprison mawuphume ngaphandle in the country that is not yours eBrazil awazi umuntu uye kulelo viki lo muntu ofanele ukuhlangana naye akekho uhlangana nalo umuntu obhalelana naye uzogudluza vele uzothi plus ke bababiza ama virgin oh I want that one fresh from this thing lo ohleli years and years vele ufresh uzothola umntwana nalo umuntu loyo angithi and then abanye bayenzani abanye babaqosha maseka pregnant athi akusimi uyabona omunye wenze njani bekakufunela ukuthi azokulala for that time so uNkulunkulu angincede ukuthi ngibe neaccess yokuthi ngine vision yokuthi ngibuyele eBrazil ukuthi kube khona indawo eningi not ezithu nje kuphela zikhona but azikho enough ukuthi abantu bahlale and then ukuthi kube nezikills ezipho abantu ukuthi mabaphuma bayakwazi ukrosha kuzokroshwa lezo zinto siyozithengisa khona indawo bathi kuseBras sizothengiswa khona ukuthi kube neaccess yokuthi kube khona maybe abantu abasithumela idark and lovely eBrazil bayasebenzisa ngithi ayikho eyangapha ukuthi kube khona idark and lovely ukuthi inwele zethu ziqinile bagcine bayenze ngeproduct yangale ukuthi mhlambe zibe khona ukuthi umuntu makabuya leyo ndawo mayikhona ukuthi abantu babuyele like a shelter but kungabi shelter nje kuphela ukuhlala babe nezikills abazenzayo ukuthi abanye bathunge baphiwe ezandleni abanye babe yibika like trained bayokhuluma emajele abanye bayenzeni so into engidlule kuye mina angifuna abanye abantu badlule kuyo so ngine vision ukuthi ngelinye ilanga uNkulunkulu uzongithola nami ngibe nalento ukuthi ngiyithole ukuthi kube khona indawo enkulu ukuthi babe nomsebenzi abawenzayo bangathola ama correspondence because ayikho into ebuhlungu ukuthi so umani uyalala ulalela ukuthi uzodla ulalela ukuthi udonse and enye into mabaphuma bayasayina so abana lento ukuthi bazophuma babuye fast no uyasayina bayibiza iparole noma ungaze ucede 5 years yakho kuba uzoba nesikhathi ukuthi maybe usayina for 5 months 6 months ulobuhleli uyabona so fanele kube khona into yenzayo that time
So you spent 5 years in prison and you were corresponding with the father of your child.
Yes.
That is the first person you go to after prison.
Yes.
Where is he from? Was that a genuine relationship or as you are trying to describe now be we relationship yet dependency I'm with you because I need to be with you and I need your address.
Yes, it was a dependency but kuyashintsha mase uphumile ngithi mase kungene kwamanye amagi umuntu mase umtholile uyabona treat good and then uyabona angithi prison ibhlungu mase uphuma umuntu umbona buys you angithi ukhumbula ukuthi siphuma singana impahla impahla bezincane, buys you clothes, uyabona, umthandela leyo nto leyo for that time, uyabona, ukuthi hey, he's treating me well, hey, uyabona, treatment is very good and all those stuff.
Yeah. And at what point do you have a child with him? Where is he from? Nahlukana kanjani at some point?
Hey, yazi ngifuna noma umuntu yazi bayenzani abantu ngifuna ukubakhuza namhlanje. Abantu mangikhuluma kanje bathi angisaba ukukhuluma kanje. Angikhulumeli ukuthi ngiyasiqhenya, ngikhulumela ukuthi wena uncedeke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ngikhulumela ukuthi wena ikusasa lakho libe bright. Khona abanye abantu abadlule ezintweni ezinje abakwazi ukuthi bayenzeni. Omunye umuntu makabona le video ngicela idlulise abonise omunye umuntu. Ne? Naye lapha khona bazomchasela ngeEnglish ukuthi bengithini. He always say to me ukuthi why ngimkhuluma into media ngimkhulumi nginceda abanye abantu. Lo muntu bekangangithandi. Bekabone bekabone loophole kimi ukuthi angizange ngibe wise noma bese ngiphume prison. Ubone ukuthi benganamntwana and catch up ngibe nomntwana ngaba pregnant, shuthi masihlangana ngengaba pregnant. Mangiba pregnant wabona ukuthi bekuyi loophole ukuthi abe namaphepha aseBrazil through me, but bekayidlala irole ukuthi uyangithanda ukuthi umntana uqala uyazi na yonke indawo ukuthi yo uma unomntana uqala ukuthi yo wena unamntwana ngizokushada.
Yeah.
Kanti G0d I know ukuthi bekashadile, uyabona. So bekayidlalela yena njenge bekabona nje ibhola lokuthi ayikhabe that time ukuthi Sizakele udom, uyabona. So ngiyasho ngoba abantu bayamtshela ngoba bayezwa bambonise futhi bama-explainele.
Yeah.
Angikhulumeli lokho, ngicorrecta wena odlalwayo ozodlalwa ukuthi ungadluli lapha engidlule khona. Uyayibona lento le. So the guy was from Nigeria. In Nigeria there are good people from Nigeria, let me tell you something. There are bad people like South Africa. So yena bekana lento ukuthi hayi lo mntana lo uthi ngidlalele yena ngimtholisa umntwana. Little did he know ukuthi mina vele bengimfuna umntana nginganaye. uNkulunkulu wayuza yena, yabona, as a loophole wangitholisa umntwana, yabona. So ngathola kanjalo kumntwana a precious gift of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one. So your child is half Brazilian.
Yes, he's not half Brazilian. No, yo. I think uzwa kahle wena Nkululeko.
No, I get it. If the father is Nigerian and you're South African, your child is technically a Brazilian citizen.
Yes. Yo, and again, kune value iphepha lase Brazil.
Yeah. That's why I'm smiling, because it's like, yo, that's a precious thing that can happen to someone. Ukuthi umuntu akuzalele in London, and it's like, if it's South Africa better, you can just go to London,
Yes.
to England, or if you are born in America. Do they understand? Even though you are Nigerian and the mother is South African, do they understand Portuguese?
Yeah. Yes, angithi mose ndaweni.
Uyamfundisa.
Yeah, ngiyamfundisa akayazi yabona kakhulu na uyenza 11 phela sasemncane ngiyamfundisa, but let me tell you something. I bless God for what has happened in my life. It was a divine connection. My God, it was a divine connection where the devil thought he has ended with my life. But God has a purpose in my life. He had that thing good when I'm separate because you are different when I say again. Or good, we have a different, there's a scripture says, the builder that was rejected became a chief cornerstone. Hey, a chief cornerstone, but it was not easy. And it was hard. But in that hardness, God taught me who I was and who I am today.
Yeah. Was there an option for you to stay in Brazil, or was it always logical ukuthi uzohamba nengane yakho ubuyele South Africa, or bekune incident eyenzakele ukuthi let me just leave and go back home?
Ubaba umntana waye prison, umntwana makana 1 month. Ne bekayenza into zakhe, but amadoda nabafazi ngithi angazidlala into zakhe. Alobabuya nje athi mari thungitshela iqiniso ne, bekangitshela ukuthi uyazenza but bekangazenzeli endlini. But thungitshela bekazenzela endlini, mina bengi-ignorant, bekasifaka endlini, but ngingaboni mina. Angithi ngiyaphuma phela ngihlale ngisendlini, bengipreacher, yabona, eBrazil ngiya ukuyolona kuba i-motivational speaker. So bekazenza, but bekanalento ukuthi ayilaku kwami lo angeke angitshele ngiyabhadala. But mina bekangeke angitshele emehlweni ukuthi hey khona into engiyifihlile la, because masekaboshwa amaphoyisa amaweza kwatholakala ukuthi mawubheka abhekisisa athola ukuthi khona something, but angizange ngiboshwe because bengaseyami, uyabona. so uNkulunkulu wangisave.
Yeah, and then that triggered you coming back home.
Yes.
His absence
Yes.
and the fact that obviously you don't the owner of the house and now unamsebenzi,
Yes.
no stable income, then you had to come back home.
Yes.
Were you met by your uncle at home? How difficult was the situation for you because awusebenzi ikhaya likuphi when you come back home? Is there a home to go back to?
And enye into ngifuna ukuyichaza la uyazi ukuthi ngabuya ngana next ukhumbula ukuthi babe ifamily yayithatha impahla asibavele bayigqokela bathatha yonke into and basebenzisa but akunandaba angithi but ngifuna ukuyiqhaza ukuthi iprison ibuyiselane emuva ubuya ungana next for that time. Okay, impilo is very precious and the freedom is very important, but ngabuya ngana next mangibuya ngamkelwa umalimam airport but bobona ukuthi shuthi wayedleka ngaphakathi ne but makadleka kanjalo kodwa wayengiapproachile mase ngibuyile bese ngiapproach maybe after 4 months sengibuyile angithi ngihlala naye anginandawo yokuhlala and ngibuya nomntana omncane umntana bekathanda ibisi had ukuthi ngihlale naye but ngasuka azange ngisahlala naye because beka kancane beka ngiapproach ukuthi mari wena uwebona ma connection and then ungayenza futhi so I had ukuthi ngisuke lapha hlala khona ngibuyele kakugogo kwami. It's not easy ngithi ngitsheleni uqala life pants is very hard. Ngangilala esponchini but Nkululeko ngingana nengubo kodwa ngaphanda ngaba nengubo e1 ngaqalela phansi. It's where nga respect ukuthi my God, it was not easy ubuya nomntwana omncane nilala esponchini and uthole rejection ngitshele into the family awusana zaka manje fanele uqale life pants and ngicela ukunikhuza ama family wethu ukuthi masibuya ningasibizi iboshwa nithi lesiboshwa sibuyile impilo zethu zitshintshile ngitsheleni khona omunye umuntu impilo yakhe ayikaka change for that time because of treatment yakho how you are treating her or him ombiza ngokuthi siboshwa umuntu akusumuntu wakho umuntu kaNkulunkulu yabona and kwaba ne rejection kakhulu because ayikho imali manje into ebuyisela abanye abantu ukuthi bagange futhi kakhulu angisho ukuthi abantu babambelele lapho ukuthi umuntu uyabuya makabuya makazodla uthi ha buyela futhi yophanda ucanga ukuthi uzolobudla ukudla kabani umuntu uyabuya futhi abuyela yenza ama haste food bese anibathandi ba embrace umuntu uthi ubuye ejele or uthi yazi ukuthi khona umunye umfana wenza ingadi lapha ungamncedisa ungamtsheli kanjalo kodwa umbonise ngothando ukuthi ungayenzani yabona so kunjalo.
Clearly there was a tension between you and your uncle. Umtholela uNkulunkulu enhlizweni yakho uyamxolela but clearly there was a tension there because I think I explored this earlier on in our conversation. The idea that he pimped you and the idea that what he saw unfit for his kids, he saw fit for you to do, whereas his kids were not doing it. Has he ever gave you the opportunity to apologize, to confront his actions? Is he still in the drug world at this point?
Now, akazange abonise lokho. Mangibuya bekuyisorry yesiyomlomo ne? But in his heart, it was not like that because he has approached me.
Yes.
Oguti, after 5 months, it was so early. Oguti, hey, yini le mangikhuluma ngama-tongues ngiyenza ke ngikhuluma ngama-tongues. Yini manje lo ukhuluma ngoba ukhuluma isiPortuguese ngithi ngithi these are heavenly tongues. This you connect on it. Umuntu akakufundisi. Allow umoya ingcwele and then allow nawe ukuthi ube ne relationship noNkulunkulu. Angayizwa lento hayi angizwa lento yakho yeyi wena uNkulunkulu akavela asuke lapho uNkulunkulu uncede incedayo bane attendance abantu yeyi aniyekeleni lento ukuthi uNkulunkulu uncede incedayo. What is that? uNkulunkulu ukunceda wena but fanele upersevere ne kune scripture sithi kwamele upersevere angithi angeke vele ube namhlanje bese ufika emsebenzini uba imanager angithi kwamele udlule lapho bakuzonde bathi awusebenzi kahle uyabona lezo zinto ezinjalo. So I like your question. Umalume had something about me but angazi ukuthi bekuyini uze washona ngingazi kamampela ukuthi bekuyini but I still say that I've forgiven him yabona ngoba yazi mawungaxoli uba nesilonda ithi ngitsheleni abantu bathi hayi unamanga iyabuya sometimes into mangihleli ne ukuthi hey are supposed to be gone, but umoya ingcwele uthi Sizakele yonke into nento inesikhathi sayo. Lesi isikhathi sakho sokuthi manje ube patient on each and everything you do, and you have to be content on what you have. Ngifuna ukuthicha namhlanje futhi njoba sikhuluma ukuthi be content emshadweni okuwo namhlanje onama problems. It is for that moment. And enye into Nkululeko asikisi ukufaka lento le njoba ngikhuluma nomshado. Ama South African thina asina submission. Asikisi ngizokhomenta vela kunandaba. Ama South African ana submission this nowadays. Awukwazi ukubekezelela umuntu wakho. Ukwazi ukuxoxela umngani wakho into zakho. Umngani wakho umxoxele uzokuthenga amalanjarini achama umuntu wakho. Ngikutshela. Wena into ongayenzi emntwini wakho, ngispeaker phela mina ngiyazazi lezi zinto ngifundisiwe uNkulunkulu. Wena funda ukukhuleka njengoba nami yabona uNkulunkulu wangifundisa ukuthi yonke into uyakhuleka ube somewhere. Uma limambu Nkululeko bengimkhulekela ukuthi uzoshintsha ukuthi ayenze, but washona kabuhlungu kanjani, washona nganamali, batshontsha neimoto zakhe, washona njalo, wangcwaba umfazi wakhe, akusumfazi wakhe bekuyi girlfriend yakhe. I still say that to that woman, may God bless you, because wayenza into enhle.
Okay. I want you to think about where we are gonna go next in terms of our conversation. I want to talk religion and God. Indoni uThixo kuwe. What is God to you? How does he or she or it communicate with you? Do you envision God in your head as a being, as a spirit? Ufika njani uThixo kuwe athethe nawe? How does God communicate to you? And how do you know that that communication is a message from God? Now we're talking spiritual language. So I'm asking the question, I'm a vessel to ask the question on behalf of the audience. But whatever I'm asking is not an opinion. I just want, as you explain and expand about the meaning of God, that perhaps this is a teaching moment to the audience too.
Firstly, remember that while I was empty, nginganankulunkulu bengana peace. To me, my father, you know, noma ngikhuluma, you can feel that is omniscient, not only in the head, is the head over all principalities. Ne? God to me, hey, my God, yabo uyangithinta mawukhuluma kanjalo. God to me is a peacemaker. He has given me peace. God is love. God is a spirit. More than spirits. God is a jealous God. Ongafuni ngathi but esingazi thina. Because uyakuyekela udlule entweni so that uzobona ukuthi amandla akuso wakho awakhe.
Is this an ongoing relationship, and your meditation, which is prayer, and your communication and receiving messages on how to approach life, is it an everyday challenge for you? And is it a relationship that you constantly have to work towards? What is the role of a church that you go to, for example?
Yes.
Isonto, do you need to go to church for that to be fulfilled?
I love this question. My God, my God. Thank you for this opportunity. Holy Spirit, I thank you.
Amen.
You know what happened? There is nothing ozoyiqala nje without a relationship. Qala. You must allow yourself. Angithi manishadile no muntu wakho, you build a relationship. Angeke avela athi umuntu ngiyakulobola kusasa, hey wena so umuntu wami. Angithi. Firstly, thina abantu basemhlabeni, we don't make God the first opinion. Uyabona? Ukuthi uNkulunkulu like for an example, mina Sizakele, umntana uyazi, mina uNkulunkulu uzaqala empilweni yami. Kuzo zonke izinto. Imali yes ikhona but uNkulunkulu uqala. Ne? Why? Because what God has done unto my life, njengoba ngibuza a question ukuthi what must it happen, like for an example, kwamele vele siye esontweni, because esontweni uhlangana nabantu. The Bible said where there is unity there is blessing. Angithi uza ungekho right ubuya endlini, ne? Une stress se school fees, une stress se marriage, and uya preach pastor laphayana ukhuluma ngokuthi yonke into iyabekezelelwa ukuthi everything will be well. Angithi wena ukhuluma nawe but akakuprophesayanga. Angithi ukuthi ngibiza wena Sizakele ngikhuluma nawe uthi yazi ukuthi okay, for an example yimi ngipreachayo ngithi ngiyamaza uNkulunkulu mina angimazelanga la, ngimaze ukuthi fanele ngidlule into enezinje. Ngianswerisha wena ozile esontweni but not exactly ukuthi ngiyakukhomba ukuthi wena but Nkululeko ngiyazi ukuthi udlula kwini. You understand? Ngiyakutshela but it's a parable ukuthi what you are passing through, I'm giving you this prophecy ukuthi it will pass. How it will pass for you to have a relationship with God. Which relationship umazi ukuthi ubani, umazi kanjani uNkulunkulu ukuthi ubani? Angeke umazi uNkulunkulu ungafunda iBhayibheli. Because it is written, abantu bathi uJesu umhlophe and is coming from where? No, that's lies. Jesus wonke umuntu akakhethelelanga ukuthi wamajunje kuphela. Angithi why? Because he ascended and descended. Angithi wafa waphinde wavuka ukuthi thina sibe ne-eternity. Eternity ukuthi is not like ukuthi angeke ufe, but eternity it's peace in you. Uyabona? So if you have peace in you, you've got everything, because mawudlula eyintweni ezinjalo unabantu, you are gathered with people in a church like mina. In the church that I am, oh my God, I'm learning a lot. I'm learning that ukuthi without God I cannot go anywhere. And I'm learning spiritual things because things are spiritual. Ngifuna ukufakela something. Like abantu abathatha ama-drugs, they are possessed with drugs. It's a spirit that enters people. There is a spirit that engena umuntu ukuthi ithi wena yenza so. If you are not spiritual filled, you are a church goer, just reading a Bible without understanding it. What is written, if ngithi the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. Angithi being in want because of ukudla. Abantu bathi mabafunda le verse Psalm 23. Ulfunda fast umuntu no. You must read it with understanding. What I shall not be in want of his presence. Of his presence, knowing whom I serve. You don't serve the God that you don't know. Not because of material things. God is not God only of material things. God is God of love and peace.
Siyabulela kakhulu. Thank you so much for that. Masivale nge-motivational speaking and your visits to prisons.
Yes.
Let's wrap up our conversation with that. In a month, generally speaking, how many times do you visit prisons? And in motivational speaking as well, is that something that you do regularly? Has that become your occupation, career yakho le?
Yes. So that yabona manje so ya somewhere. There is something you said ukuthi wena sisizakele bongacabanga. I'm so humbled ukuthi uNkulunkulu angenze ukuthi ngazi ukuthi ngubani namhlanje as a speaker, as a motivational speaker. Mina puts Nkululeko ukuba ispeaker ne calling yam le yokupreacher nokuba ispeaker it different ne. Njengoba you have asked me something ukuthi God shows me ukuthi as I'm going to motivate there, the person that is going to be motivated there on inkinga ezingaga, how to speak to them. Like for an example, in prison manje njengoba kune COVID asayi kakhulu ne okokuqala ngiphendule ingajumpeli into COVID.
Yes.
Njengoba ku I feel ukuthi is unfair, sorry abantu abasebenza ngama prisoners ukuthi thina esesadlule intweni ezinje ningas allow kakhulu ukuthi siye ema prisons and thina siyazi ukuthi where to touch ukuthi ibutton umtouch up umuntu ukuthi ungamhila kanjani ukuthi maybe ngacabanga kakhulu ukuthi use prison mangimtshela mina ukuthi ngibuyapi ngetestimony yami ukuthi mina uNkulunkulu ngangise Brazil but wena bheka ula South Africa yabona. If it comes to a push mina ngokuya kwami evikini bengingaya kayi2 ngoba kuya kwami prison because people in prison they need this bagcine banolaga bagcina banoqunga because of ama families wabo abawa understand ukudlula thina ukuthi ma sekufike lesikhathi sokuthi ngiyibuza ukuthi but why but when ukuthi ungayenza njani yabona. So before we used to go like maybe in 2 weeks I'll go to visit to prison yabona, female prison kakhulu angithi and ngicela ukucela abantu abasebenza prison banalento ukuthi kungene amadoda emadodeni. I feel is unfair ukuthi thina njengoba uNkulunkulu asiyuza kanje ukuthi nami ngangena emadodeni uNkulunkulu still uses me kumadoda ukuthi mangimtshela phela I'm a woman, I'm not just an ordinary man, a woman ne, I'm a woman ukuthi uNkulunkulu anganginceda ukuthi abanye abantu they feel kubomama ukuthi they can bathulule into abayiphethe uyabona. But kulamalanga kunalento ukuthi mawungena eprison ungena kubomama kuphela kubobaba ungeni, which is sorry, it's wrong because mina ngingaba like umama kuye akwazi ukuthi athulele izinto kuye yabona. And then motivation to be a speaker, like I speak in different events yabo. Like for an example umntwana makahlupha you can contact ukusho ukuthi Sizakele yazi nginomntwana also. And I don't do things, I first pray ukuthi God lo mntwana khona enye into engifuna ukukutshengisa yona. Abantwana mabajonja the most mabayenza ama drugs bayajonja athu mama why lo mntwana lo uyazelephi ukuthi ngiyifake ephi le mali yabo ngoba bese ngiyifake phansi kweigqathulo lo yamntana iprofet une gift yobu prophet yiko aya lapho. So usathane ubonile ukuthi lo iprofet ithi ngimtempere ngalento le, why azi ukuthi lento ikuphi uzwe umuntu athi yazi ukuthi hey lo muntu beka lo bangena ajonja kodwa ngingamboni aba visible invisible yabona akajonja lento. It's because lo muntu loyo evangelism ukuthi azo evangelize uzwa umuntu athi hey unabangana abaningi kanjani bamthanda but lo muntu uyakwazi ukuevangelize but wena ukwazi ukuthi umbambe ungamdinekeli lo mntwana mkhulekele uzoba right. So I work with different things, marriages too angithi ngidlulile kuyo leya baba umntanami ukuthi I am there in schools too. I am there ukuthi ngizobatshela ukuthi mina ngicalephi ngidimanda imali kumama manginikeza. And ngiyacela futhi bazali abantwana masibathandeni but kube ne limit ukuthi siyayichecka ilona incwadi zabo zesikolo. Enye into abantwana bababhema omunye umuntu ufast umbona ezandleni.
Yeah, that's the first place you look at.
Uyabona omunye umbona ngeattitude mawuthi geza izitsha noma intombazana umfana athi abhodle ukuthi there's something wrong upon her or him. So ngicela ningibizeni ngikhona ngiavailable. And then angeke ngisho ukuthi it's how many times because you know njengoba ku COVID we are passing through a lot of things. Yeah ukuthi please I'm available, call me.
Do you want to say the number if you're comfortable?
No it's because they are calling me after angithi ungasho
bazofona bafuna uthando.
No abanye abantu bayafona bathi kimi allocated kuphi sisi uhlala edrobheni uhlala kuphi nabantu abathengisa ama drugs mangabe babukela lento le. You know what, it's never too late for you to change because sometimes awazi ukuthi ubulala impilo yomntana kasisi wakho or umuntu ongakunceda kusasa. You can think it's a fast cash but it's killing our country. Drugs are killing the nation. Drugs are so sensitive. Ibulala umuzi walo wababa. Drugs is killing that wisdom of that young child or on a wisdom law ongaba into media kusasa or angaba judge la kusasa. Please angikhulumi kabi but I'm pleading that it's a bad decision to take to sell it. They are killing the nation.
Thank you very much for the message. I appreciate you coming here. Thank you to everyone who's watched this episode up to this point. May you have a good day. Thank you for watching us.
Nkululeko.